You guys, thank you for joining us and welcome to the 15th episode of the Pure Michigan Properties Podcast.
Shalonda.
Yes, Dylan.
Did you just say 15?
I said 15. Big 1 and 5.
I was like, wait, what's that? Because it's opposite.
Yeah, it is. I forgot. Yeah, it's the 15th episode. How exciting.
We're halfway to 30.
We're halfway there.
Which means we're close to 50.
Mm-hmm.
Which means if we're close to 50, that means, that's a lot of math. But 15 episodes.
15 episodes, Dylan.
And every single episode, we're just getting better and better.
I think so. And I think the audience and viewers would agree as well.
From my feedback, from the people that I've had tuning in and listening, feedback's been great.
Okay.
They said from the first episode to where we are now, dramatic change.
They
Or not,
see the
I don't want
growth?
to say change, I want growth. That's
Okay.
the word I want to say, because sometimes change can't be a bad thing. But, no, they've recognized the growth. They've seen how much more, what's the word, value added that we've been providing. We brought on Brent Wilson from Silverline Lending, which has been huge. So again, shout out to Brent. Thank you, Brent. Thank you for coming on to the podcast. But now we're on episode 15.
Yeah, and let's talk about even expectations moving forward really quickly.
I'd love to, yeah.
And so the expectation is to bring on more industry experts like Brent in different respective professions as it relates to the real estate transactions. And so look forward to that, you guys. And like you were saying, Dylan, the feedback has been great.
Yeah.
And we do continue to look forward to the growth of the podcast.
And you know what made me feel so good? That one of my friends said to me, they're like, Dylan, you genuinely look like you're having fun. And I was like, good, because I am.
Yeah.
I love doing this.
Who else?
Imagine doing this, because we do this every week, and if I hated doing this, it would be an issue.
It definitely would.
But I love doing this. I love
it doesn't feel like work.
I love that. Bingo! It doesn't feel like work. And genuinely, like, we already have great conversations off camera. Let's just have them on camera.
That's it.
Share it with the world.
And so Dylan, his personality is great, right? He's always upbeat, bubbly. He keeps me on my toes for sure.
Thank you.
And make sure that I feel like that I'm grounded as well.
I feel like our personalities, like, specifically just the two personalities that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they work so well hand in hand that, let's say, like, I'm going through an issue, I can come to you and talk to you about it, and you know
Absolutely.
exactly what to say, and vice versa, where
likewise, yeah.
it works so well.
Let me ask you this, Dylan. I know your birthday recently passed. When was your birthday again?
August 23rd.
That's not what I was thinking. Okay.
You said recently. I'm like, it wasn't that recent.
No, it was your friend's birthday. Shout out to Jill.
Oh, Jill. Yes. Love her. Hey, Jill. You're watching.
Very cool. But, you want to get into it?
Let's just jump right into, I was combining jump and dive. Let's jump right into it.
Let's dive.
Ooh, we're
going to
dive.
We're going to jump and dive. Jadive. We're going to jadive.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, there we go.
So you want to kind of introduce the topic and what the conversation will be about?
Ooh, so you guys, I've been having a few different conversations as I door knock in my business, and so a lot of the conversations has been, are we in a housing bubble? Are we heading into a housing bubble and things like that? And so I think that is important for you all to first understand what it means.
Because it's not... When I first heard the term, I was like, a bubble around a house? Like, what do you mean? Like, am I blowing like bubbles? Like, no.
No, that's not it.
So let's explain what a housing bubble is, what the characteristics of what it looks like, and the real question, are we in one right now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and so I am going to read you the definition of what a housing bubble is, because it does refer to a situation where housing prices experience a rapid and unsustainable increase is often driven by factors such as demand, speculation, and exorbitant spending.
Yeah.
I can't say that word.
What's the word?
And so
Yeah.
that's it.
But I think also another factor, well, kind of like what you said, but like in a wraparound, is like just having like a healthy economy to where people are able to go out and purchase a house or sell a house, right? And like that kind of situation, to where we get to the situation where housing prices are rising dramatically because of the demand, right? That's a state of a healthy economy, saying that people are able to afford this kind of decision making.
And so I even think it does go beyond real estate is an economic factor, and so we're not economists, but we're here to tell you a little bit about what we know and how it can or how it has affected our markets. Because in a housing bubble, it can definitely be it can last for years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so those housing prices, they skyrocket, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, once they're up there, now we're looking at how long they'll be there.
Because when you go up, what happens?
You have to come down. That's
down.
just the law of supply and demand. Newton's law of gravity is
yeah, look at you using all your school.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, that's just how it is. When you go up, you go down. It's a simple, basic concept, right? And that applies to the housing market just the exact same way, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people have had, or have been having the conversation, well, prices are crazy. Demand is crazy. It seems like the prices of houses have gone up dramatically, and people are like, now the real question is, when are they going down? That's the question, right? So that kind of brings in the question of a housing bubble, right?
Correct.
Because those same characteristics apply from a housing bubble to the situation we're in with the housing market right now, where houses don't stay on the market that long unless, well, certain houses stay on longer than others, but houses can go in a day, right? Because demand,
hours sometimes,
literally hours.
Yeah.
Because demand is so high right now to get into a house, but with demand there also comes supply.
Yeah.
Supply right now, not the greatest.
Yeah. And so the thing about it is the state of the market, as we call it, a dynamic state of market. It does give us those characteristics of the seller's market, right? With the inventory, the amount of inventory that's listed.
Right.
And so, at some point, go ahead, Dylan.
Sorry, I actually finished yours because mine's a totally different.
Oh, no. And so, at some point, the hope is for there to become more inventory in the market and for things to kind of balance out and shift. But right now, are there signs of anything slowing down or anything bursting? What's your thoughts?
I'm going to say no. I think right now we're still on an upward trend of where the housing market's going. I do believe eventually it will start to, I don't want to say normalize because there's nothing normal in real estate.
There's nothing normal in life.
But I do think eventually within time, things will start to, what's the word I'm thinking of? Just
like level out? Maybe?
Level out, yeah. I mean, I think that's a great way to put it, but with that, it's just, I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Okay.
But what I wanted to say really fast was just, there's a thing in our industry called absorption rate, right?
Yeah.
Right now, I know for my market that I actively work in, I'll explain this in a second. It's around a 1.2 to 1.4, which means within 1 month and how many ever weeks, if home buyers bought everything, it would take a month and a half before all inventory is gone.
Before it's all depleted. Yeah.
That is crazy to think about compared to, let's say, 10 years ago, where the absorption rate was much higher, meaning that things were going to take longer to buy out before everything was gone. So I like to look at the absorption rate of how fast are we able to move our inventory? But also you have to take on the flip side, how fast are we getting inventory? We're buying things faster than inventory is really popping up.
Yeah.
And that's why the question of, are we in a housing bubble? Because the demand is crazy, but supply is low.
Yeah.
Meaning house prices are driving up like crazy.
Yeah, but that's everything. That's not just the housing market. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's what, people don't really take into consideration.
That's not even brought into the conversation when we're talking about housing, that's the conversation, right?
Yeah.
But we're also not taking into other categories of just our economy.
Our economy, and so that's really what will determine where we'll go. And right now, I'm starting to see things even simmer down in the economy, I would say.
I would agree.
Prices are starting to kind of fall slowly.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say fall, but it's becoming, I'm trying to put it in the right words, right? Things are just playing out. They're just playing out. I think we're finding that balance within our own budgets.
I think so too. I mean, even... Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, I think even like employers are now starting to realize like what's the term? It's
the cost
of living has gone up.
Yeah.
Like that's just not even like up for debate because it has.
Exactly.
I know for my sister, she got a raise because their employers realized what we're paying you compared to, or what we're paying you with the trend of how prices have rose, you're not going to be able to sustain it. So we need to up your pay.
Yeah.
So you are able to sustain where you're at. So you don't have to get another job because I can't afford the cost of living nowadays.
That's right.
I mean, the cost of gas. It is a player in everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's gone down compared to where it used to be, but it's still not like a fantastic. I guess you can't really put a benchmark on fantastic, but if we're going to talk about the housing market, let's talk about everything.
Well, yeah, let's talk about everything. And here's the thing: I think it's important to buy or to sell is based on a timing matter for the individual, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a seller, it's just, hey, what's your motivation behind it? If you're a buyer, what's your motivation behind it? But understanding your budget, right? And so anytime is a good time. What are you going to invest in, right?
I know for me, I've ran into this situation with my buyers and the one seller that I'm working with. But it's more about, especially with the characteristics of if you are looking to get into the realm of real estate, it's the people that have to make a decision, right? It's rather than, I kind of want to delve around and see what's out there. No, I mean, the people that are have the motivation behind it. Mm-hmm. So like there's like death, divorce, what's the other? There's a couple other things.
Yeah, it's a few other factors.
But like those are like the factors of like, okay, now we have to move or now we have to sell.
Yeah.
I know for me, the people that I'm running into, if they don't have to, then they're not really going to. But on the flip side of things is now let's talk about, like, again, the inventory.
Yeah. We
don't have much inventory out there, so like people aren't as motivated to.
But let's even address that, because I kind of, it's not a myth. I don't want to call it a myth.
Okay.
But we don't have a lot of listed inventory.
Right.
Let's not forget about the for sale by owners.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people actually out there that's still willing, wanting, and able and ready to sell.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sometimes just getting them to, just they don't know where to start.
They don't know what they don't know.
They don't know what they don't know, and so just going out and reaching out to those individuals. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just letting them know what their options are.
Educating
this
them.
Can fuel your next move
for
your
sure.
journey, and so
yeah. And I just think a lot of people like they don't want to entertain that because the fear of the unknown,
yeah.
the uncertainty. of where the market's going to continue to go, because I know a lot of people in like my sphere have been saying, oh, we're waiting for the crash, whatever. I'm like,
you may be waiting.
yeah, I mean, TikTok.
and I think this too, life happens in cycles. I do believe that we see the trends, and so, but where are we at now in the cycle?
Right.
I think we have a wave before.
That's the discussion that I feel like a lot of people are missing out on, is like that little piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Where are we at currently, and where are we moving towards?
Mm-hmm.
That's the questions we need to start asking, because that will help you plan for the future. Correct. Where you want to go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. And
let me ask you this. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off for 1 second, but I wanted to ask you a question. Do you think we're in a housing bubble?
So looking at the factors that that goes into the housing bubble, I would say that because people are constantly able to be pre-approved and things like that, and just knowing the state of our economy. Now, this is my personal opinion, right?
Please, yeah.
I see that over time, the home values are going to continue to appreciate in value. So I don't see that we're in a housing bubble, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you still feel like it's going up, it's going to rise?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we look around, we're seeing a lot of more new developments.
Lots.
Right? And
yeah.
So,
popping up everywhere.
Yep, absolutely. And even let's discuss the sports here in Michigan, right? The Lions itself, that draws attraction to the state.
And the Lions did really well.
Did really well.
So they brought a lot of revenue because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so people are expecting them to even go further next year. And if we look at what's happening, because I do serve Oakland, Wayne, and Macomb County, and so how it's affecting the Tri-County areas, it's in a good way, right? They build up the Riverwalk downtown Detroit, and everything is just, it's a domino effect, and it's hitting the outer areas, the inner cities and the surrounding cities as well. So I don't believe that for as the areas that I serve that we're in the housing bubble. There's many investors in town and even out of state that's buying, and the remodeling of the home and the renovations. They're doing some great things in the neighborhood.
No, I think so too, and I think that's what a lot of people need to start looking at too, is not just the housing market, because I think the housing market is really driven by the outside factors of what's going on in the area. I did a video and it was so funny because I got a lot of attention from it, but literally there's a thing. Have you heard of the Starbucks effect?
I have heard of the Starbucks effect, and I'm seeing a lot of
okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to be by a Starbucks one. I know for me.
Absolutely.
You see me with Starbucks like every day. But when it brings jobs too, someone has to work, right? It brings more of a population.
Yeah.
And like I said, something as simple as a Starbucks coming into town could change the dynamic of how real estate works.
And to add to that, right? Detroit is known as a food desert, right? And so now we're seeing more grocery markets pop up and things like that. And so that's going to affect the way the housing market is. And you see what I'm saying?
Definitely. And I think that's why, like, as agents, it's so important to understand what's going on in your area.
Yeah.
Not just the housing market in
what's
the area.
What's going on with the schools, factories, everything. Yeah.
Look into it all because, if we have a listing in that area, it's great because that's another talking point that we can say, we can sell on, right? But also it just drives what's going on with the market in that area, and which will domino effect into the housing market.
Yeah, and it just backs, the state of the economy. It just backs it.
No, that's literally like the backbone of the whole thing, right?
Or where it's going.
Yes,
rather.
that's the way. I think that's the perfect way to word it. Because people able to, are they in a healthier state of economy, right? Like, what's their finances look like, right? They able to make that move, sell their house.
I think it's a motivational factor. So if you're not ready, that just means that you got to get ready.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you're not ready now, what's the game plan to get ready?
And so how do you help your clients get ready?
It's one, just having the first initial contact of a conversation. I think people undervalue the face-to-face kind of conversation, but I think there's such high value in it.
Yeah.
And just asking the right questions of, one, the biggest question, what's your motivation?
Yeah.
Of one, maybe you're not looking to make a move quite yet, but kind of understanding the goal of where they want to be in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Kind of getting that game plan together. It's just like, how athletes have a game plan of, we're going to do this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. What's your game plan for this game?
Absolutely. And so, and to add to that, to alleviate fear, so up front, tell us what your fears are, and we can provide the background, the knowledge and the information that you're looking for to kind of help alleviate that fear, but also knowing that there are many different options other than the purchase or the sale of a single family home to help you invest in yourself in the long run.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that I know with the conversations I've had with like a lot of my friends and family is like they're very like short-sighted, where it's like they see the next like couple years, but I'm like, let's think bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because you rather set yourself up now rather than worry about it later.
Yeah.
I like to just reference it. It's the exact same things as like stocks. You're not going to see a return on your investment within the next day, right? You can't be like, I'm going to buy a house and then sell the next day and make $20,000. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wish it did, but it just definitely does not work.
No, I like that.
It's an appreciating investment,
Yes.
which means you have to let it appreciate to invest, right? Like that's the whole point of the real estate market as an investor attitude or mindset behind it is that it's not just a quick, easy hit and quit it, make money, but you just have to.
Unless you have a stellar plan.
And you have to have that game plan,
That's
right?
it.
And how do you get that game plan? You reach out to the experts.
Gotta reach out. We'll get you started.
And let me tell you, because I think I've had people say, well, what does it cost me? Just to have a conversation. It's free.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're not
For
charging
me
for
to inform
conversations.
you with all of the knowledge that we've gathered throughout being in real estate, let me tell you something great. It's free. FREE.
It is free.
And and honestly, the reason why I got in this industry is because I love to be an educator. I love to educate people on the process, what real estate really means, and how to win in it.
And so, kind of like what you're saying, you like to educate. I learned something about myself. My sister was saying, you just like telling people what to do.
Yes.
I don't like telling people what to do, but when I genuinely put effort for, far as learning something, and I'm more than confident, then absolutely. I'm looking at it this from all different lenses and perspectives, so I know that, I'm confident this is the best move.
I took a personality test about like 7 months ago.
Okay.
And it told me that I don't like to do anything unless I'm 100% confident.
I like that.
Like I have to know everything and anything under the sun until I'll make that decision. And it makes so much sense because I am that person where if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not going to do it.
That's right.
I can't say yes or no. I can't say do this or do that. So when I help educate people, I think that's where they come at me with like a sense of trust because they know I would never say it unless I'm 100% confident in what I'm saying. And I will tell people, hey, I don't have all the information behind it. This is what I do know, but I'm not 100% confident. Let me get back with you.
Absolutely. That's the most important. Like, I will, guess what? I want you to trust in me, you know. So if I don't know something, please know that I'll go find that information out for you. But much like what you were just saying, I took a personality test as well.
Yeah.
The 16 personalities quiz, I think it was.
I think so.
And so, funny story is, they ranked me as an advocate.
Okay.
You know, so along the lines of Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, things like that. One of the flip sides of that as well was when evaluating my strengths and things like that, it's all in the details.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sometimes, I don't know, like we were talking recently about what type of person you are, you know.
Yeah.
The broker, our broker Pete mentioned.
Yeah.
Are you an engineer type person? Sometimes
the disc assessment kind of thing.
Sometimes I really can have an engineer mindset and gotta know everything about everything. And sometimes it gets you nowhere, but sometimes it does provide a full circle.
I think it's good because I know for me because I'm very much like that where I have to know anything and everything before I want to at least put it out there, right? To me, I think it's such a benefit because I love to learn.
Yeah.
And when someone asks me a question I don't know, I dive deep into that topic. Deep. I'm like, what can I learn about this? Plus, what can I learn more about a sub thing about that topic, right?
I want to know the roots of it.
Exactly, because I'm not. When I speak, I think one thing that I've heard back feedback is that people can tell when I'm confident in something when I'm not confident. When I'm not confident, I don't put out my whole personality. I'm very reserved. I'm like, okay, Shalonda, no. But when I'm confident, I'm like, this is the game plan. This is what it means. X, Y, and Z. So it excites me too because I feel like I get to provide value.
Because you're ready to share that information.
I'm ready to shine, baby. That's simple, just like that.
Never miss your opportunity to shine.
Never. But also, I feel like never stop learning.
Never
Stop questioning either. Keep asking. I think asking questions is so important. And that's why I'm so glad we got to talk about the housing bubble because I know that's kind of conversations that's popping up with your friends and family. I've definitely heard it on my end, the news. It's been brought up there.
And so I don't watch the news, so I really can't speak on that. But like I said, even outdoor knocking, talking to different residents of different communities, that is one of their biggest
and in a couple, let me ask you this, in a couple sentences, like when someone says that, what do you say to them?
So I say, hey, have you considered the whole factors? You know, the state of the economy overall in the United States, or are you just looking in the local market? Because I think one thing that scares a lot of individuals is when you listen to the news, they're talking to macro economics. They're not talking to micro.
No, they're not diving into your area.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing that we have to share.
And I want to also add on to that is every market is different. You can't just take one market and blanket statement every market.
Right.
You can't say Texas market is the same as Michigan market. No, it is not. It's very much different. Different statistics, different data you'll get out of it.
Absolutely.
Just different housing markets. So I love that you just said that there's a macro level and they're both valid too.
Yeah.
The validity of a macro market doesn't excuse. What's the word?
I don't know where you're going with this,
but
we'll figure it out.
Yes, the macro market is valid, but so is that's the way I was trying to say.
That's it.
They're both valid. And when you hear it on the news, for sure, definitely also take it with a grain of salt. The macro level and the micro level, yes, they're both valid, but you just can't use them interchangeably, and you can't talk about the micro level and apply the same characteristics at the macro level because they're very much they're not interchangeable. To where the Michigan market is not the same as the Texas market.
Correct.
You can't compare the two, but on a macro level, I feel like I'm back in college when I was learning about micro and macroeconomics, but they're different.
Absolutely.
They are different. Different conversations to be had.
Yeah.
But very important as well.
Absolutely. And so I think the only way that someone will really be able to know and dive into that information, though, is reaching out to a specialist, right? You're not going to go talk about real estate with your dentist or your cardiologist.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's what we do day in and day out, is we are researching the markets in our area, worldwide. And I mean, we've talked about this so many times. I really do believe our job is just to do research. I just think also educators. Yeah. Research and educators.
Well, part of the research part is that hopefully we're not keeping the information to
ourselves. We should have.
And so that's part of the reason, though, about why we do the podcast, is to share the information that we do learn.
And we love to.
And that we do know.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I love to do it. Yeah. It makes me happy. And it makes me feel like I'm giving and providing value. I mean, genuinely, that's the whole reason why we do the podcast.
And so now we're ready to talk to you guys to see what it is that we can share with you to provide value into your lives.
Definitely. So I know we've gotten feedback on our episodes before, and great feedback from agents in our office, friends and family we hang out with. The more feedback and just suggestions you guys can give us, the better we can make this whole podcast.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. So
I would agree.
Please continue to give us feedback. It's very much valued, and it just helps you.
Yes.
Simple as that.
So reach out to us. Dylan, tell our audience.
The best way to get in contact with me is through my cell phone, which is 248-891-9860. You can call or text it. Or if you're not that kind of person, you can definitely just check out my website, which is dylanmostyn.com, spelled DYLAN, Mostyn, MOSTYN.com. That is how you get in contact with me.
Yeah.
Shalonda, share with the audience the best way to get in contact with you, or any way to get in contact.
Well, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
I love that.
The best way to get in contact with me is either by calling or texting 586-339-8321. It is a personal number, and so you will reach me. Or you can visit the website Shalonda. That's me, spelled SHALAUNDA @kw.com. Or you can just Google me. You can just Google my name, Shalonda Wather, and that's Shalonda, last name WATHER, and you'll find me on different social media platforms and things like that. Beautiful. Yeah, that's it.
I think that's gonna wrap up our episode for today, unless there's anything else we missed.
You guys, no, I don't think we missed anything, but hey, take hold of the opportunities to utilize us. Never feel afraid. We're here to help you.
Yeah.
And so.
And literally.
Yeah.
You give value for free, so.
Yeah.
Please
absolutely.
reach out if you just have a question, if you want to learn something new.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
The more you know, the more you can move confidently in your life.
Oh, and I love what Brent said too. He was like, confident people make decisions.
Yes.
So to be a decision maker, you must be confident.
You must be confident.
And to get confidence is to have knowledge. Where you get the knowledge? Through the best.
We're here for you, okay?
So please reach out with any questions. If you just want to learn anything, we're here for you. And with that, we're going to wrap up the 15th episode.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week for...
And I think you did that wrong. It was this way, I think.
Oh, no, you're right. Oh, it looks so stupid.
Yeah.
Well, we're on number 15. So thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.